The results are in. Apparently, prayer doesn't work. At least that was the conclusion reached after an experiment on prayer at Harvard University. They took 1,800 heart bypass surgery patients and they monitored their post-surgery recovery. A third of the patients had people praying for them and they knew about it. A third of the patients had people praying for them and they didn't know about it. And then the final third didn't have anyone praying for them, at least not as part of the experiment. So do you know what they found? Nothing. No discernible difference in the rate of recovery among the three groups. Apparently, prayer doesn't work. It probably comes as no surprise to hear that the power of prayer sometimes gets called into question. Anytime there's an awful tragedy like a mass shooting, if you say that you're praying, it's kind of seen as the same thing as saying that you're doing nothing. It's kind of seen as a cop-out. It's seen as something that's absolutely worthless and doesn't help. And yet, even among Christians, I wonder if we've sort of silently come to the same conclusion as the people at Harvard University. Maybe we've spent a significant portion of our lives praying and praying that God would take something away or make a problem better, and it just seems as though those prayers haven't worked. This week I want to talk to you about the power of prayer by looking at another experiment on prayer. This one is recorded right on the pages of the Bible. As we look at that experiment, we'll have the opportunity to ask that question: does prayer really work? I think that's a good question for us to ask. It's good for us to want an answer, because testing the power of prayer is really an opportunity to test the one who invites us to pray in the first place. Jesus famously said, "Ask and you shall receive, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be open to you." But right after inviting us to pray, Jesus said this: "Which of you, if his son asks for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will give him a snake? If you then, though you are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good gifts to those who ask him?" Jesus is saying if God really is who he says he is, if he really is that powerful, if he really is that loving, if he really loves us more than any earthly father could ever love his child, then we should expect that when we come to him with our prayers, we will receive good answers. And so as we experiment, as we explore just who our God really is using prayer, I can promise you this: you're going to like the results.